Yo, what up guys, Travic here, and we are now 1 day and 5 hours out from Path of Exile 2's Dawn of the Hunt update. This update will be absolutely massive. We are gonna see a lot of ups, we're gonna see a lot of downs, and honestly, it might just feel like a whole new game. I wanted to make this video yesterday when the patch notes were released, but when the patch notes came out, they were like pages upon pages upon pages of information. There's so much information in these notes about what's changing that it is really hard to grasp everything in a small time frame. Like, I really need to spend today probably like going through these again, seeing what I missed, seeing what I can figure out. A lot is different. A lot will be changed. It's really going to be a whole new game, and I am both excited and nervous. In my years of playing Path of Exile, I've seen a lot of balance changes. I've lived through Expedition, I've played through Kalandra League, I've seen the game get completely nuked from orbit to being one of the coolest things like Settlers League. So overall with Path of Exile 2, I'm not really too worried about the changes in Dawn of the Hunt because it's setting up probably a bigger picture that we don't know. If you have looked through the patch notes, you'll notice a couple of very interesting things. There have been a lot of bad, and there's some really interesting good. And I know a lot of people haven't seen the good or talked about it too much, but let's kind of talk about what's going on. First and foremost, these patch notes are absolutely massive, and we have a lot of good information, like I said, and a lot of bad. And some of those bad things being that a lot of the builds that I have played and a lot of the things that I loved about Path of Exile 2 are now really no longer a thing or a lot weaker. We've seen a lot of big changes in these patch notes to like demon form, stat stacking, the heralds chaining, mana stacking, ingenuity, and some crowd favorites like Grim Feast just be completely removed for now. And while that's terrifying to think about, it's going to be okay. You know, we see changes like if we look up Pillar of the Cage God, we see that it does half its effectiveness. If we look up Hand of Wisdom in action, we see once again, it just does half of its effectiveness. And if we look up some of our favorites like Ingenuity, it is nowhere near as strong as it used to be. A lot of these items and a lot of these things in these patch notes are really telling of the way that the game changes up. And for me personally, signing up to play early access or signing up to do all of this, I'm fully aware that every day that I go to bed and I wake up, what I'm playing might just be completely nuked out of orbit. The only thing that I'm sad about is it doesn't happen sooner. While it's good to be able to play my stat stacking monk and my little crossbow shenanigans for as long as I did, it's, you know, I would like more changes. I would like changes faster. And if GGG watches these videos as somebody who is playing in early access, I'm okay with going to bed Friday night and Saturday morning, everything being changed. I know not a lot of people feel that way. I know I'm going to get a lot of criticism for that comment, but it's early access and I look forward to the final product. And if it takes getting a lot of changes in, so be it. I fully expect Path of Exile 2 to be a completely different game going forward, patch to patch, with every single change. Mark said it the best, while there's 10,000 changes in this update, and the next update there'll be 5,000, and then 2,500, and then 1,000, and then 700, or so forth and so on, until we get to that really nice final product. And honestly, like, if it takes a year, it takes a year. Now, if you did read these patch notes like me and you are feeling a little on edge or a little uneasy and you don't know if you want to play or if you do want to play or what's going on, it is okay to take the event off. It is okay to wait till Friday and watch streamers play it or check out YouTube videos about what's going on. Nobody will fault you for that. But for me personally, I'm looking forward to a lot of things. Some of my favorite things like heralds, you know, my favorite things like the heralds have been completely changed. They have a bunch of new radius changes. They require different things. There's new Herald of Blood coming. And then the Herald skills that made those huge, massive explosions are no longer a thing. So that kind of leads me down the road of like, are there ways to make those effects again? And early access is really cool because like, while GGG takes these fun tools away, like Herald explosions, they leave in the fact that, well, players will be players. And it's only a matter of time before players break things. Now, while I had mentioned that there is a lot of nerfs in this and a lot of things that aren't the most exciting, like random grenade nerfs, we don't know what's coming with it. Some of the positives to this is there are 100 new support gems that are coming out that will change the way the game plays drastically. We are no longer limited to the small supply of gems that we had, and we will have access to a whole new variety of things to mess around with come Friday. We also have none of the numbers. So it is really awkward, right? So we get these like patch notes and they're completely damning and they change everything and they're blowing everything up and they're removing things and they're adding things and they're messing things up and they're saying this no longer does this and this no longer does that, but they give us none of the numbers of how things are going to interact. So we don't have the bigger picture yet. GGG, I suspect, is leaving a lot to surprise come Friday for us to log in and mess around with it and see how it's going to go. But overall, without all the numbers, I'm nowhere near panicking. We also have like hundreds of new unique items coming. So while all of these uniques have been changed, you know, while you're at Xeria's Disdain, you're Astra Mentis, you're Against the Darkness, while all of these have been changed, we still haven't seen all the uniques are coming. My only fear is that some of the uniques that are currently in the game aren't very exciting outside of a small handful. So while I worry about the next 100 coming, I'm sure there are going to be 5 or 10 of them in there that are going to be out of this world fantastic. Some of the other positives out of these patch notes that are coming out is, well, we are indeed getting the Huntress. And for me, Huntress looks absolutely fantastic. If you've never played Diablo 2 before, or you haven't ever gone down that route, Huntress is a pure mimic to the Diablo 2 Amazon, and that class is just out of this world. It is so fun. You just take a spear, you chuck a spear, the spear turns into a lightning bolt, it hits an enemy, it forks, it explodes, it chains, and you just play this game where you like herd up the enemies into a big ball, chuck a spear, and they all explode. And I'm hoping I can do that. That's my hope. My hope is that I can do that. You know, Dawn of the Hunt is going to give us, like I said, the Huntress. It's going to have 2 crazy ascendancies. We're going to have the Tactician ascendancy for the, you know, the Mercenary, the Smithic Atava for the Warrior, the Lich, which might just, I still think Lich is really good. I'm just sad Hexblast is kind of dead, but I'm sure there's a way to make Hexblast good. I miss Hexblast, but I'm looking forward to trying out the new Endgame. You know, there's 8 new unique, you know, Endgame maps that are coming. There's 4 unique types of strongboxes. There's Rogue Exiles. There's Asmarian Wisps, which are like the same thing as like the Affliction Wisp, but they're kind of also like a little crazy. And they have like the spirit of a bear in it, and like an owl and a fox and a hound and some other crazy animal thing. We can summon new pets. There's a Roa. There's, you know, new rooms. There's reliquary keys. There's new essence updates. There's so much, and we still don't have the information. While there's so much negative and nerfs, there's still hundreds of new things to be excited. I don't know, man. I'm just excited, man. I just want to play Path of Exile. You know, I record this video and I'm like going through these patch notes and I'm looking over this and I'm talking about what's going on. And all I can say is, like, while it seems grim and down, I'm excited. I'm really excited. I want to see what the Rogue Exiles are like. I want them to drop some crazy stuff. I want to play with the Asmarian Wisp. I want to see how that's going to affect loot. Will we get cool loot explosions? Huntress is a class alongside Monk that I've been looking forward to since the announcement of this game. And like, I really want to play with that. And something that was really cool, really cool, is that, like, if you didn't see this, did you guys know the base damage of all crossbows has been increased? Crossbows now have 2-handed versions of added damage modifiers instead of the 1-handed versions they were using. Crossbows were only 1-handed and they were insane. Now you're telling me that they're 2-handed modifiers with all kinds of extra damage? What? What? There's unique charms. there's so much, man. There's so much. I can't even like wrap my head around everything that's going on. All I know is I want to log in Friday. I want to see the changes, and my plans for Friday going forward is this. Friday morning, regardless of everything in these patch notes, I'm going to click Huntress just like I clicked Monk. I'm going to level through the campaign as Huntress. I'm going to find cool little things. I'm going to play the character the way that I want to play. And I'm going to do my best to ignore a lot of what other people are doing until I get stuck. When I get stuck and I need advice, or if I get stuck and I need like a little bit of a guidance, I'll go take a look at what other people are doing. You know, in the past, I've turned to other content creators. I've turned to other people. I've looked for different things, and it's worked out really well, but I will get all of my thoughts out. I will get all of my updates out. And like I said, I think Huntress is going to be amazing. My plan currently, with the limited information that we have, is I'm going to click Huntress. I'm going to log in. I'm going to click the Amazon Ascendancy when I get there to ascend, and I'm going to play the Amazon Ascendancy. How we do things from there, we'll see. How I'm gonna, you know, ascend it, so forth and so on, we'll see. It's subject to change between now and tomorrow. Once I get to maps and I start exploring maps, assuming the Huntress isn't just the worst thing on Earth, I'm going to progress through the Atlas. Hopefully. My goal is to farm enough currency to get Ingenuity. And I know there's a lot of people who think I'm crazy or who think that's a bad idea or who think whatever, but my plan is to get Ingenuity. And I know it's crazy. And the reason being is Ingenuity still says that you get 30 to 50% increased bonuses from the left and the right ring. I think that's changed again. I'm pretty sure there was changes to that. No, I guess this is the final change, but it's 30 to 50% bonuses, and that's still really good. I still think there's a lot of value in that compared to a regular belt. To my understanding too, Ingenuity now has access to charm slots. It might be like 10 to 30 or 10 to 40. I'm pretty sure there was a change to Ingenuity and it's just like not showing here, but I'm pretty sure there's another change to Ingenuity and now adds charm slots on it. So that's really exciting. I remember reading that they posted it somewhere and I'm hoping that I can like find it while I'm doing this video. But if not, you know, I'll get it out there and we'll talk about it. But yeah, Ingenuity is going to be a really cool thing. And I also really just kind of want to pair it with the Ritualist. I know I said I'm going to click Amazon, but there's going to be a world where after we're done playing Amazon and we get things like Ingenuity, I would like to swap to Ritualist. Simply due to the fact is that Ritualist is going to gain 25% increased bonuses from equipped rings and amulets. On top of that, you're going to be pairing it with Ingenuity. So hopefully they stack up together nicely. So that'll just give you a big, massive boost. Yeah, granted, there's a little bit of a downside. You're going to lose a little bit of resistances or some spirit, but resistances aren't the end of the world. We'll make it up with our gear. But the idea is that we gain 25% increased bonuses from rings and amulets is really, really, really strong. I don't really know how well the other side of the changes are going to go for the Ritualist, but ideally I would like to have a way that maybe Blood Boil scales really well. Maybe As the Whispers Demand is insane. Maybe the power of the Ascendancy carries, but we'll tell in time. Regardless of the fact is my plan is I'm going to click Amazon. I'm going to log in Amazon and we're just going to start farming. Now, how I'm going to build the character, we don't have gem information, we don't have numbers, we don't have all the new uniques, but when we get there, and as I figure it out and I put things on, I'll let you know. But Amazon right now is where my heart is in terms of starting the latest expansion. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I really am. I'm so excited. You know, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play. One thing I will say is I know there's probably a lot of people watching and they're asking about the monk and they want to know about the monk. The monk I don't think is super dead. I do think Tempest Bell in traditional fashion got like quadrillion nerfed. I still think it's okay. I don't think it'll be the worst. I think it'll work a little bit different. I think Tempest Bell is going to be one of those things that we have to play with in the game. I do plan on revisiting Monk. I just want to start and try out Huntress. After I'm done messing around with Huntress, I'm planning on going back over and checking out Monk, plus other fun things with the expansion. You know, it's early access. I really want to I don't want to sit and just play one thing over and over. I really want to look around and see what's going on. But that's my current plan. I'm going to log in Huntress and then depending on how things go, once I get some gear, once things start rolling, I'm going to swap over and try a bunch of new different builds and a bunch of new different ascendancies. I have a feeling that Tactician's probably going to be insane. Somebody's gonna break it some way or somehow, so I think that's gonna be really cool. But right now, all I know is I'm just gonna end up keep yapping and yapping and yapping, and well, instead of yapping, I'm just gonna get this video out to you guys. My plan today is I'm gonna go live on Twitch, I'm gonna go live on YouTube, we're gonna talk about the patch notes, we're gonna try to figure things out, and if GGG releases any more information before the release tomorrow, there'll be more, you know, I'll do another video about what's going on, and if we happen to get like a POB, or a gem info or anything like that, I'll get that information out to you guys. But for now, I'm just gonna go wait, man. I'm gonna send one final hurrah to my monk, one final hurrah to my current characters, because we'll never get to play them in the state they're in again. So I think it'll be fun. But for now, friends, I'm gonna get this video out to you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.